Hello everyone, this is Dave from Dave's Wreaths and Things. Today I'm making mini wreaths and centerpieces using the Dollar Tree 8-inch wire frames. Here are the wire frames that I'm talking about. You get 2 of them in a pack. They're 8 inches wide and they have 3 rounds of wire with anchors every now and then. There's 3 anchors in total. So this is what I'm going to be using for our wreaths and centerpieces today. Our DIY number 1, our curly mesh wreath. I have mesh here this is Deco mesh from Dollarama and Dollar Tree, and I cut mine at 7 inches. Now, there's another way you can do it. You can just wrap it around your cutting board. Now, mine just happens to be 7 inches, or you can cut a piece of cardboard that's 7 inches. I wrap it around several times. I get rid of the excess. I hold on to my Deco mesh and my cutting board, and I just cut away on both sides. And that creates all these wonderful little pieces with just a couple of cuts. So it's nice and easy. So I'm going to finish off with my white one. I'm going to do the same process again, just wrapping it around and cutting that all up. And when I'm all done, I am going to take my little Chanel stem and those curly cues, curl them up, put them in between my fingers, and I'm going to do 3 per bundle. Now I'm going to be making 16 bundles in total, so you're going to need 48 pieces of the Deco mesh at 7 inches. So here I am just continuing on making my bundles. I'm going to put a link in the top right hand corner. I do have a video that goes a little bit slower with this whole curly loop, so I'll put that link in the top right hand corner if you want to check that out. It's the curly Deco mesh base wreath. So my bundles are all done. Now I have my little wire frame, and I'm going to start with an anchor. So I take my little bundle and I'm going to wrap it around the center wire and the cross anchor wire. And I'm just going to give it a couple of good twists to make sure that's all nice in place. And see, it doesn't move. And then I'm going to continue on that middle wire here with the rest of my bundles. And within each section, so in between each anchor or crossbar, I do 4 or 5, and then I do 1 bundle on every anchor. And here I am, I'm just finishing off, and I believe it was 16 in total that I got from both of the rolls with 3 pieces of 7-inch Deco mesh in each bundle. There we go. And then once I have my last piece on, I just make sure it's all even on the downside, or on the bottom, I should say. And then I flip it over, and here is our final wreath. Of course, you can use any color, any decorations. I just love how this looks plain. Our little 8-inch mini wreath. Just gorgeous. And of course, I love these 2 colors together, the white and the lime green. And here's my little centerpiece that I created with a glass vase and a little candle using the same mesh wreath. DIY number 2, our woven rope wreath. I have my 8-inch wire frame again, and I have some of this extra rope that I had lying around. And for this, I'm going to do a woven method. So how I start this is I start pretty much at an anchor in the bottom opening, and then I'm going to use the under-over method or over-under method. So the first wire I'm going over, then I'm going to loop it on that last wire, and then I'm going to loop it through that opening, come under the wire in the middle. I'm going to go through that opening, and then I'm going to wrap it around the outside wire. Then I'm going to come back, push through the opening, and I'm going to go over the middle wire. And I'm just going to continue this whole process over and over and over again until all my rope is used up. I usually use my left hand to push all the rope together, and my right hand does all of the weaving. Now, once you get everything squished together, all the wires are covered. You're not going to see any more of those wires once it's all completely woven in. And here you go, our final woven rope fabric. I shouldn't say fabric, no, it's a woven rope wreath. Say that 10 times fast. So I have these wooden flowers from Solo Wood Flowers, and I think I'm going to play around with those, get some together, seed placement, and then glue them all down. And this is how I decided to glue them all down, our final wreath. And of course, again, as a centerpiece. DIY number 3, our lemon ribbon wreath. I got this ribbon, it's RG ribbon, and this is from Canadian Craft Imports. And I freaking love these colors of this ribbon. It's just so summery, so vibrant, so lemony fresh. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut several pieces of ribbon at the 7-inch mark. So I use my ruler to cut, and then I'm going to use my first one as a guide. And once I get them cut, I am going to fold them over. I do 2 at a time and create dovetails, and that just finishes it off nicely. Here is my 8-inch wreath ring again. I am going to use the middle and the inside wire for this wreath. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the outside ribbons in that first opening. So that's going to come around the second and outside edge. But first I wanted to create an anchor so the ribbon doesn't move around. So I'm just going to cut a little slit right down the middle, and then I'm going to guide that ribbon with the slit just right in between the anchor that's there. So it's in the first inside opening, and then I'm just going to fold that over to the outside, and I'm going to match up those little tabs or dovetails, and I'm just seeing how it's all going to look together. What I do decide to do is I'm going to add just a very, very small amount of glue right at the outside wire and at the 2 corners of my ribbon, because I don't want them to separate. So I just want to keep them all together. But again, I'm using a very, very small amount of glue to make sure everything stays in place. And then once I have my first one in place, I'm going to take the second ribbon, I'm going to do the same process, feed it through that inner opening, going to line it up where I want it to be, and I want it to overlap just a little bit. And this is wire ribbon, so as soon as you fold it, it stays in place, which is kind of nice. Again, 2 very, very small dollops of glue right in the corners of those dovetails. I'm lining them up, and I'm going to just hold them together for a little bit for them to dry. And now I'm just taking a look at my work, and I'm loving how it's turning out so far. And what I decided to do at this point was to add just another very, very small amount of glue in that overlapping ribbon area, just underneath the second one and over the first one. I don't want that ribbon to move anywhere. So I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to put a smidgen bit of glue on there. And then I just repeat the entire process all over again for each ribbon, going all the way around, like you can see here. And of course, this just made me smile. It's like a big sunburst of lime green and lemons. I just love it. Just totally made me smile for a summer day, you know? Now I'm going to work on the inside. And what I did for the inside ribbon is I cut them at the 5-inch mark. Sorry, yes. I had to think about that for a second. So again, I did the outside at 7 inches. I did the inside at 5 inches. So I'm just going to use the first one as a template. I'm going to dovetail each one of them. Again, the same procedure I did before, just to finish them off. And then once I have them all cut, I start with the same process on the inside wire as we did for the outside wire. So here I'm just kind of placing it and figuring out where I want it to go before I glue everything down. Grab that glue, and again, a very small dollop of glue right on those corners, just to fold it over and make sure that's not going to go anywhere. And I'm going to repeat that same process over and over again for that inside wire until we're done. So here you can see I found a spot where I like it. Now I'm just going to hot glue it with, again, a little bit of glue on that frame so it's not going to go anywhere. And I just continue onward, keep going all the way around until everything is all nicely placed. And our final result, our lemon ribbon wreath, just sunshiny, yellowy, lime greeny, and the centerpiece that I created using the same wreath. Again, we have our curly loop wreath and centerpiece. We have the woven rope wreath and centerpiece. And finally, our lemon ribbon wreath and centerpiece. I love how these turned out, and I hope you did too. If you did, why not give me a thumbs up and a comment down below? Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you had a good time. Take care. Bye for now.